Hey guys, welcome back to another Gonk Gang video. It's Dom, and today I've got Lawson with me. He came top 25 in Munich. He's the proud new member of Gonk Gang. I'm going to break down his Obi Wan Baloo deck. So, first question, Lawson. How did you find the event before we break into your deck? How did you get on?
Oh, the event was great. Everyone was a good laugh. Honestly, one of the best events. It's probably one of the first events when no one's been salty about being run over. Um, so
Fair. So, when you look at the standings in Munich, you see a couple of regular decks, and you get to 24th, Lawson, and we see Obi Wan Vergence Temple. So, what was the idea to bring Obi Wan Vergence Temple to a big tournament?
so it's been very high up on my list all the way from Legends of the Force. It's got some of the craziest play lines. It has the ability to win against Sabine with two actions. Uh, Either Gunji or Jedi Consular on turn one into giving it an XP or putting down a 5-drop that just locks them out the game instantly. Gunji becoming a 3/6, killing Battlefield Marine and their next turn. Um, that's without anything else being done, and that's for free.
Hmm. So you mentioned that your deck has some combos apart from like Gunji and Jedi Consular. What else would class as a combo within your Obi deck?
Um, well, realistically, they're the main combos. Jedi Consular into a 5-drop, first action turn two. Blue Leader being an outlier, coming in as 5/5 ambush into ground that answers one shots Yaddle, one shots the
Hmm.
opposing Gunji, or being able to flip that into a Kiadimundi. Um, the other one is just again put Yaddle turn one, put a General's Blade on it, and an XP, swing in for 6, restore 1. Not many people can compete with that. And that's let alone that you've just had a 2 discount on turn 2 as well. So
Yeah. I mean, if you just like break down your deck, you've got three Gunji, three Jedi Consular, three Regional Governor, three Yaddle, and these are your open and turn ones. And then you've got two entrenched, three blue leader, three Maz, three Obi, three village protector, three general blade, three Eve Croft, three warrior, three fellow dragon, three Kiadimundi, one Ray, three Kelleran, three Luke, one U-wing, and two home one. And your sideboard's interesting. I think we'll get into that in a minute though. But looking at your deck compared to a lot of like say other decks, you have not so many like one-offs. Your only one-offs are like one Ray and one U-wing. Is there a reason why you wanted minimum one-offs, or were you just going for consistency?
um I don't actually think I think the one of I would almost say meta. I see a lot of decks run two ofs, one ofs and all this.
Hmm.
I don't understand why. I think it's a complete myth to be to be honest, unless you have certain things that can search your deck consistently, like Owen Lars or other means. I think you just want to get your best cards out, play your best lines, and a lot of the time you can just put something in front of your opponent and they have no idea what's going on. They've just sat there and put their hands up in the air and gone, "Oh my god, I've lost in
Yeah.
2 turns." Um, and it's quite funny to watch some people who turn up with these super meta decks thinking they're going to run you over. They look at you on a 25 health base, and yeah, it just goes the complete opposite way, and they're staring down the barrel of like 25 damage on 5 resources.
Yeah, I remember a few times in the day when we met up after our rounds, and you were just like, I just ran someone over super quickly, and I was like, with Obi-Wan Virgin's Temple, like a lot of people just weren't expecting the like high output of damage and like how fast it can go.
So the main thing with the deck is it doesn't look quick, but when
Hmm.
you don't play anything quick. You play behind the initiative all the time. Um, Apart from the console lines, you can start turn one, Yaddle, put a General's Blade and an XP on it, turn two, um, completely swing the board, and then play a Jedi Consular on that turn as well. Go into the 4 resource turn, you instantly have the Force again. They have nothing on board because your Yaddle does what he wants. You attack with a General's Blade, and then you reduce by 2 again with the Consular to play Caloran Beck or Luke Skywalker for 4 resources. Well,
Mm.
3 technically. Um, and I played against a Sabine, and I had a Caloran and a Luke Skywalker on the board on 5 resources.
That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he scoop?
Uh, yeah, pretty quick. It
Yeah.
was the first action Luke Skywalker for the -3 on his spaceship that kind of sealed the deal.
Yeah.
Uh, wow, that's yeah. So
Yeah, I don't know. If I seen Kelleran and Luke on 5, I probably would scoop too. That's a bit too much damage.
yeah, not many people can compete with that.
Looking at your sideboard, we have some things obviously that everyone's running. So you've got 3 confiscate, which a lot of people are taking. The interesting one that stands out to me: 2 constructed lightsaber, 2 bright hope, 2 rivals fall, 1 extra home, 1 on your sideboard. The one that stands out obviously is the 2 constructed lightsabers. Is there a reason for this?
So, from coming from a Gar Saxon player, there's a lot of times in matchups that you are ill-favored. No matter how good you plan your deck, you're always going to have a counter matchup or
Hmm.
something you can't do much about. And that's what the constructed lightsaber came in as the original plan. But after playing it through, it it became more than that. It became almost something I bought in every game, unless I was against a control deck. Um,
Right.
the ability to make your units 4 HP, um, like at the end of the turn, or keep a Yaddle alive, and that was one of the biggest things. The one game I remember putting Yaddle turn 1 against a Han Solo who went into space, putting a constructed lightsaber on it turn 2. He hit me for 6 with a Chewbacca. I hit him for 5 after the XP and healed 3. Um, so he just instantly starts losing the race after.
Yeah.
Um, and also, the fact you can put it on your leader's quite weak. So sometimes you already used your General's Blades early. And yeah, as say your leader comes out as a 3/6, can't
Hmm.
buff himself. It does really well to put on the 5 resources, play that, and then play something like Regional Governor that I think's really underlooked in a lot of things. It won me a lot of games, calling key cards that just can't happen at that time. Uh, or if your opponent plays a certain way, and a lot of times it's quite telegraphed what they're trying to do,
Right.
and Regional Governor goes down. Nope. It's not a you can pay additional resources, nothing like that. It's just no.
Right. And then they spend the whole turn basically trying to now just deal with regional governor to play the card, which by then you've already done what you need to do.
Yeah, and I've took enough time to at this point probably win because uh I managed to build up all of your minions survive through the early game. It's quite surprising. You'll always have like a 3/3 Gunji left. Your Obi Wan will probably be like a 4/3 because you've just been trading down every time, or trading up, shall I say. And you just end up flipping the turn on 5 or 6 resources while just having such a board built up with the absolute insurance of Caloran and Home on.
Mm. Well, that's a rough breakdown of your deck, but if you don't mind, let's get into like how you would play the deck, so to say. So, what are you looking for on your turn 1/2? Like, what's your ideal opener?
So, full ideal opener. If I'm on initiative, it would be Jedi Consular every time. Um, Jedi Consular and anything like Blue Leader, Mundi, or even Ray. One of the main reasons it's in here is just as an additional general Jedi Consular into 5-drop, first action, and let your opponent do what they want. Um, Most of the time, they spend a lot of time trying to turn off coordinate, and you don't really mind because you play 1 card a turn a lot of the time. Uh, cheat some things out occasionally, but you're not a spam deck, but you have the ability to go either way. Uh, Yaddle and Gunji, just if you're off initiative, are probably the better options. Anyone that really knows the power of Jedi Consular. Just honestly, if you're off initiative, you should claim to open fire it or claim to do anything to it. You just stop it going off. It's that strong.
Mm. I mean, yeah. I mean, like you've described so far, I mean, Jedi, by the sounds of it, Jedi Consular into a lot of things is it ruined a lot of people's days. So
Yep.
they are two ideal that well, they are ideal two first turns, but once you're progressing through the game, what you're looking to do in the mid game? Like, what's your ideal mid game setup?
So in the sort of 3-4 resource turns, you can, I say, hopefully cheat that out. But if not, you've got General's Blade, which is another key thing. If you don't have the Consular, the General's Blade is your second best turn two generally. Um, while a lot of decks can't answer anything to do with it. You also have ways on the 4 and 5 resource turn to manipulate General's Blade really well. Um, a lot of times on 4 resources, you could play a Village Protectors or an Obi the previous turn. You first action General's Blade, and then you attack in, and you can play another 3-drop, which people don't realize, just like with 1 resource left. I had a lot of times people like, how many resources left? 1. I'll play a 3-drop.
Right.
And it really does ruin people's day, as you put.
It just mind boggled them that you were doing it.
And so the initial thing is you just slow play. I let them do what they want to do first, and I will answer. And I will, like, a lot of times first action. If I'm off initiative turn 2 and it's like Sabine trying to race my face, I'll just go Obi Wan. I'll see what they play, and then I might XP Obi Wan. I might XP the Gunji to make a nice trade. But sometimes I'll just XP the Obi Wan, not even attack with Gunji, claim to get ahead of initiative, and then use Obi Wan to say kill the K2SO or whatever sort of 3-4 or
Yeah,
whatever could
yeah.
have been played. Um, and yeah, then we get on to like Koth and the Itinerant, which were great plays. The Koth came in and it basically ate a no glory every time against the villainy control decks, which is the main reason it's in here. It just eats those. It becomes such an important target for them, and it doesn't have a downside because they won't have the force.
Yeah.
So unlike when a lot of people sort of are not playing super laser tech because of traitorous or no glory, while this dodges that quite nicely. Itinerant is great for racing. It it allows you to keep people off. Um, just a lot of people play towards. They see you've got 25 health. They're like, right, if I take him to 20, he's I'm gonna get first action, and you just spend the force to give to heal 3. Um, and originally it wasn't in the deck as I didn't think it was going to be as good because of
Hmm.
the using the force every turn with Obi-Wan. But because it comes out on 4, a lot of the times on the Obi-Wan flip turn, you have or if you've XP'd all your minions, your on attack does nothing. So it's quite good to have a minion that used the force, so you've skipped like using the force once, so
Yeah.
that you're on attack, so you still get the complete value. Um, so
I mean, and then finally, like, what you need to end the game? But I mean, if you haven't ended it already, because by the way, it's got a very very strong early and mid game. But if you haven't ended it already, how are we ending the game with this Obi deck?
so you have a lot of ways to turn the corner. The Calorans for the grind, the Luke's for the aggro matchups. But a lot of the times I just win on 5 and 6. I've already cheated something out. I played a consular behind, bring out a Caloran back. The U-Wing is in there as a testament to the old days, one of my favorite cards, but it's probably not, it probably shouldn't be in there, but a lot of the times it just searches Caloran.
Hmm.
Home on was never a finisher. You don't need to go up there. Most of the time, you just stick a Caloran down. Most people have no answers to a Caloran, and in any sort of mirror matchup, which is why I love this deck, such as the hands or the hand greens,
Hmm.
is that I play Caloran, you play Caloran, I put 1 XP on it, and I'll kill yours for free, or
Yeah.
I'll trade up. And it becomes more prominent with a lot of like Luke Skywalker, of everyone playing it, and even just power plays that Sabine has, such as Podamarin, just get eaten by Mundi with an XP. They have to defeat an upgrade and deal 2 damage to kill your Kiadi and survive, that is.
Yeah. Is there any
And
times oh, sorry, is there
go
any
on.
times that, the home one was actually played, or did
Uh,
you never use it in the weekend?
no, I used it quite a lot, and in the slower matchups, it is a key card. I play it into control. I managed
Right, yeah.
to home one a Caloran Beck um, into a Mundi, the one game. So it tells you the sort of power and the
Yeah.
grindiness of this deck.
So you basically went
While
from no cards to 3 in, like, just one
one
turn.
action and
Or 1
coordinate
action, yeah. And
with
coordinate, yeah.
yeah, and it's great in those matchups. It was probably looking back, if I'd have known all my matches, I would have put the constructed main and the home ones inside. But
Okay.
we can't presume. I was expecting to go against a lot more like hardish control decks or mid range, like the ECL Vader decks, but I didn't really see too many of them on my day.
Yeah. I will say, like, when we were at Munich, I was expecting a lot more hard control, like you said, but, we'll soon find out there's a lot more aggressive decks than expected, to be honest. But yeah, I agree with that statement. It was very, very, very fast. So I see why you would switch the constructed in. But
Yeah.
yeah, all in all, I think the deck's great. I mean, I didn't know you were taking it. I thought you were bringing Gar again. But when I heard Obi Vergence Temple, I was like, yeah, funny. And you're like, no, I'm actually playing it. I was like, okay then. And you will see in a second by the results, you did place top 25. So if we go and look at your matchups, Lawson, we'll have a quick run through. So your first game was Talzin in Talzin in Vader's Fortress. How did that go? Considering Talzin was supposedly one of the top picks not too long ago.
Well, I think that it's almost an underrated counter Obi Wan because every time they look at minusing your minion to line up their trades, you can just put an XP on it.
Mhm.
Um, it's they use the force. They can use the force more than you, but you have a lot better access to the force, which can make it really awkward for them if you have the initiative. So a great example again is I know one of these games I went Jedi Consular. I had the initiative. I went Jedi Consular into they went Keris, and then I went first action. Blue leader in the ground, ambush for 5, and I managed to keep them off the force for quite a while my mid range and my top end is way bigger than theirs. Um, Even if you manage to get a Gunji down, it just trades through everything as a 3/6. Um, Whatever they do, you just kill it in 2 turns. Same with Yaddle becomes a problem because of the healing, and it was quite a comfortable matchup. Um,
So you're
Even
basically
after
saying that the OB is just like a straight up like free win into Talzin almost, just
I
because you
wouldn't
can
say
stay out.
straight up free win, but you manage to get a permanent value from each use of your force, while they get a value which can only be abused in 1 turn. So
Right.
if you manage to do anything to get around that, um, like a lot of times, as again, it's very telegraphed what they're going to do. They will minus a minion on the Talzin flip turn, for example, or 4 resources, and then they're going to like try and get the force again and use a Talzin's assassin to kill it.
Mhm.
But you can then alter what you do a little bit. And as I say, you play behind what they're trying to do. So as soon as that happens, you could try maybe General's Blade or anything to keep it alive. Or the one time, because of course they're the aggressor with my top end, you just use Entrenched on one of your minions. I now have a 3/8/3/9 beta that is only going to trade ground, but we know Mother Talzin isn't going into space.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I don't know. It was perfectly explained. There's nothing to say about it. Moving second game, you had Han Solo with the risk security complex. I will say there was a lot of this deck. I did see a
Yeah.
lot of Han security complex. I'm very interested. I mean, we can see how it went. You won 2-0, but how was the actual game?
So This Prince a pretty good player, and she it was the very aggro style of Ogdo Bogdo, put a shield on it, and go from there. I know they don't really run any upgrade hate, so when uh, when you manage to get the initiative and you play, I believe I had the initiative again this game, so I managed to cheat out a Mundi on turn two, that just made them sweat from there. Really, the one game, uh, and just they just again it makes it difficult for them because a lot of your XPs just hurt too much in the maths of it because they manage to hurt their own minions to cheat them in while you're paying nothing just to make yours a bit stronger. So quite quickly you get control of the board and I have two ready minions and I'm just waiting for them to play something to kill it, basically.
Yeah. So again, it was a somewhat okay matchup for you. You were happy to play it, basically.
Yeah, again, because if they had 25 health, if they went to try to go the space route in that deck, I might have worried a bit more. But with the 25 health, you have access again. A second game, you put straight put the constructed lightsabers in, and if you draw the constructed or any of that, they can't do much. They don't have the power play of ECL Poe, um, which is quite a downside in this matchup. So I can kind of abuse the lightsabers, and honestly, it is abuse the lightsabers because the power you get from either Generous Blade or constructed in these scenarios is just too much for almost anyone to deal with.
Yeah. So then move on to your third game, which was Cad Bane, which, as we can see, you lost 2-0. And if it's anything like my Cad Bane matchup, I just got run over. So I would be interested to see if you also got run over.
So this was the joke with this one. With the way my deck is, having to have 4 health at the end of the turn,
Hmm.
it's like Cad Bane is the almost ultimate counter.
Yeah.
I can maybe abuse an inexperienced Cad Bane who has the 2-drop version, but I think that's a lot rarer now. Everyone runs the double 1-drop.
Yep.
Um, so I know from going into this matchup, I honestly give it about a 10% win rate for me. It's that bad. There was no reason to sideboard for it because I lose it anyway. Um, I I tried second game just relying on the power of lightsabers and constructed, but I specifically remember getting criminal muscled 3 times by 5 resource turn.
That
So
yeah, kind of standard in Cad Bane, I think, at this point.
yeah, so I was at that point I just had a smile on my face and when I sat down against the Cad Tark in town, honestly, there was no point playing.
Well, you
So
gave it a shot, and
yeah,
then
well you've got to, haven't you?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like I also in the weekend played the Cad Bane. I sat down and went, "This will be fun." I just got pinged off the board, so I was like, "Yeah, it is what it is."
So I have the 5 to 10% win rate I have is if I get Gunji,
Yeah.
and uh, the other, and that's pretty much it. To be honest with you, there's nothing else.
So if you don't
I
get
get
Gunja, you don't do well.
I get Gunji. They don't expect you, so they don't talk in town just to take you to 1 health. They leave
Mhm.
you alone for a minute, and then you can go for. Then you probably have to go General's Blade, and again, just hope they don't have Criminal Muscle and
Yeah.
pray at this point.
Your fourth game was against Iden Versio. Yellow by the looks of it,
Yeah.
and that was
Um.
2-0.
So
Interesting.
that
Iden yellow.
So it worked really well for him. It was a much grindier list than the green version. It had access to all the bounties to like uh, to provide additional draw and get the card advantage. But based on this was the sort of deck that I went in almost preying on with the home ones, the Calorans and all that. I'm very versed in this Iden thing. I'm probably one of the only people that enjoy playing against Iden. I see it much more like chess than like do you have it at the time. It's a game where you can show off a bit of your like game knowledge with um, regional governor, which can win you games when you know they're playing towards something, they're baiting you out, and you just go regional governor. There you go. I'm going to get an extra 10 damage in while you have to kill this. It's And again, once you go sideboard, you get access to what most people don't. Most people's initial play lines into control is to maybe try and aggro them out or cheese them. I go for a different strategy. I'll take out all my non-minion cards apart from the removals. So post side, all the lightsabers go out, the entrench go out, the Felder Dragon stay in, and the Bright Hopes come in, surprisingly, as a very important tool
Right.
to
Okay.
like minimize your input on the board, because you'd never want to truly overextend into Super Laser Blast, because we all know what they're playing towards,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's often very obvious when they pre-claim um, for a Super Laser Blast. So with the Caloran, as long as you're on 8 resources, you play the Caloran, expecting the Super Laser Blast, and what you're doing is you're looking for two things. You're looking for the regional governor to say Super Laser Blast, or you're looking for Bright Hope to just bounce Caloran back to your hand and draw a card.
Mhm.
And that puts them in a weird position where you're like, you haven't overextended onto the board, you've saved your Caloran. So next turn, if they do Super Laser Blast, you just go Caloran, and you're
Yeah.
back in the same sort of loop and cycle, but with more cards in your hand.
So by the sounds of it, you like the Iden matchup.
It's a great matchup, and
I
yeah,
mean, you're probably one of the only people that enjoys that too, because I hate Iden
as a green blue player, I probably should, but I don't know why. It's something about it, and
because you're a maniac.
when you're against someone who's good, it's great. Playing
I mean,
against
yeah.
playing against the slower, like almost one of like noob control players is the main bane of control, because when you don't finish games, or people will
Mhm.
feel cheated because, oh, you've slow played and this, but when you both know what's going on, you both fully accept, and you're both playing 10, 15 seconds in action, you know what's going on, you're pre-playing things, you've got your next plays ready, you know yeah, you can get some amazingly fun games in, and they become almost like blitz chess,
Yeah.
where where we're both looking at the clock, and you've got like games finishing in 15 minutes. I remember specifically both of these Iden Yellow games. The one game I had, I was in mill, and the second game I was like 5 cards off mill,
I mean, yeah. That's
and there was
pretty. That's pretty.
25 minutes on the clock. So
So
that's why
moving
it
on.
was great. Yeah.
I mean, the Iden one sounds insane to be honest, but I want to get into this next one because you played another Talzin and another 2-0.
So this
What
was a
was
bit
it
of a
any
different
different?
Talzin. Yeah, this is a Talzin blue.
But did it feel the same?
So ideally, yes, because uh, I, I managed to put in response to his. I think. Oh, well, had Night Sister, and his first action in the second thing was to put a general, not general, the uh, to put some upgrade on it. What's it? The double blue, turn it into a 5/5, base power
Uh,
5/5. It's from the new Size Matters Not, I believe is what
yes,
it's
I
called.
think yes, with the X-wing
So
dart on it.
yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
Um, which is quite interesting. So he's got like this 5/5 minions first action turn two, and then I just put a General's Blade on mine and make mine 5/7.
make yours bigger.
Um, and it wasn't just a little bit bigger; it was big enough to attack in, kill, and not die to uh, the Mother Talzin ability as well. So from literally that moment, he was quite disheartened, because that was followed up by, I believe it was a Yaddle. Um, so he's now staring down a General's Blade, 6/5 Gunji, and a Yaddle, and it's on. And he thought he was the one playing,
The
the
big
nuts.
unit.
Yeah,
But overall, it felt the same as the first one, really, where you
pretty
felt like you were
much.
okay into it.
Yeah, pretty much. They have again, they have few access. You play around Power of the Dark Side. That's the main thing. And as
Mhm.
soon as he tapped out it allows you to free play the General's Blade. Well, it's one of those just test old things where everyone in those colors you should expect to be running Power of the Dark Side.
Yeah. Your sixth game was Gar Saxon Yellow, and again, this was another deck that was a lot of in Munich. It was Gar Saxon Yellow and Gar Saxon ECL. Both of these
Yeah.
decks, as well as the hand security complex, were like everywhere. So as you can see, you won 2-1, so it did go all 3 games. So what happened in this one?
So this is somewhere where, like, honestly, it's not a very. If it was the traditional or my version that I play of Gar Saxon, because I've played it a lot, of the
Hmm.
full ground version, or pretty much full ground, you have a bit of space swap and you run Iden and stuff. But he was running majoritively space units, Boba pilot, and all this. So he had the ability to go quite crazy. While the first game, I managed to just he had to go to ground with Krennic, and I managed to just beat him down with a Gunji, because it just trades through anything that he did in ground. Some space units do well, like the blue leader ambushing in. Um, but again, a lot of the power of this was won just by slowly controlling and going round the corner on the 5/6 resource turn, not allowing him to do anything. Um, Cheating stuff out is quite key in this, especially if they get all the space, because space is one of your, I wouldn't say complete weakness, but it's not something you
It's not your
can
strong
quite
point.
heavily contest in. Yeah, but you have answers with Gunji and Yaddle being a good one as well.
Mm.
But the one game he did manage to win, um, was turn one space unit, turn two the one which can't be defeated. I can't think of
Phantom?
its name. No, the 3 costs that can't be defeated by like enemy card abilities. It's 3 cost 2/2, rate 2.
Uh,
What's that called? But anyway, what?
no, I can't remember off the top of my head. Did he cost 2-2? Yeah, it's Lurking Tie
Lurking
Phantom.
Tide. Lurking
Yeah, I
Tide.
said Phantom.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, Lurking Tide Phantom, and then next, well, as I know the Gar Saxon deck quite inside out, I played Regional Governor and said Iden,
Right.
to which he smiled to basically confirm Iden was in his hand, and
Hmm.
then instead he played it's a set one minion that gives it 2 XP, an Imperial 2 XP. But
Tag, Tie Advanced.
I
That's it.
advanced. So the tie advanced, and that I just couldn't outrace that because again he saw 3 surprise strikes that game, so it was literally 3 attacks into my base with that minion.
So he just basically just went face, done.
Yeah, and
Look,
and that's it. So and that's or again sometimes yellow have it. 3 surprise strikes is just well, it's 50% the damage on your base nearly.
yeah. Your next game again was another hand blue. Again, a deck that was seen a lot, but this time no security complex, just Dagobah Swamp.
So
Again, 2-0 for you. So
so this was a deck that I was hoping to see all weekend as well. A deck that I'm more than confident into, hand blue. It really struggles because most of its turn ones are either 3/3s that they've cheated in. They might play some, Yaddles and stuff like that. But again, they sacrifice their HP to cheat things in, while you just use the force at the end of the turn, and you'll always have it. They can't interact very well. So you Gunji, then you XP it first turn, and now
mhm.
no matter what they've played, you kill for free. And then next turn, you just you just keep going from there basically. And everything they play, you play and put an XP on.
So you're always just ahead of them, basically.
Yeah, to the point was I traded an Obi Wan Kenobi, the 3-drop Obi Wan Kenobi,
Mm.
into a Poe Dameron that he cheated out on the 4 resource turn. Um, and that's the sort of thing where he's just completely a whole turn behind again. Um, and that's without even talking about cheating things in. Because again, hand seems to not run much upgrade hate, which I was kind of banking on a bit this set with, especially like the disabling fang fighters not being
Mhm.
so popular and not having the Quinlans that are just going to waylay disabling fang fighter and give you a bad time.
Yeah. And then your final matchup of the first day of Swiss was against hand one green. and he won 2-1. So again, in all three games, what happened there?
So this was one where he really utilized the power of, well, you laugh about it, but it's what we kind of call non-games. Um, Game one was Falcon into Chewbacca.
Hmm.
Um, I lost that one, as you might imagine, but it wasn't
Yep.
just Falcon into Chewbacca. It was Falcon into Chewbacca, into Slow Falcon, into Han Pilot onto the Slow Falcon. So I was dead on 5 resources before he flips.
Right.
It's kind of crazy when you see that happening. Like, no matter what deck you are, I don't think you can do much about that without having specific answers. So game two, we got the confiscates and everything in there. It went a bit better. We managed to turn the corner, but then again, game three, just managed to just get a bit blown out in the space again. Not seeing my key cards like entrenched or confiscate, just leaving you a bit too far behind.
Yeah. And that would put you at a 6-2, which then qualified you for day two. And to open up your day two, you play the Sabine Wren ECL that was 2-1 to you. So again, all three games.
Yeah, that's normally quite a good matchup, honestly, into Sabine, but it can be quite dependent on the initiative. If you have the initiative, you are a lot more likely to win, and I know that's pretty standard against
Yeah.
Sabine. Um, but it can really hurt this matchup more than others because they have the ECL. You don't have as much access to um, the General's Blade, well, as much free access because you have to be respectful of just losing it,
Hmm.
for almost free. So yeah, you have some great lines again. Yeah, cheating things out can be really important in this. A Sabine, if the Sabine had respect, they'd always ECL anything into Jedi Consular, but the one game had no respect and got turn two blue leaded into the ground, and it's just
Hmm.
from there you kill their turn two, their turn one and their turn two, and then you've still got all your resources left going into the four.
Yeah, your next game as well, and day two was against another Sabine ECL, but this time the Sabine won. So
Yeah,
I'm
this was
guessing
a
you
bit
didn't
of
get
a,
initiative.
well, that was one, but this was a bit of an unlucky game with this because uh, game one was the A wing into Chewbacca,
Okay.
which again I'm holding, and I'm always holding out for the entrenched in any deck that I know can do this. I'm just looking, not hard mulliganing because you can't. You have to keep your turn one,
Yeah.
and you're looking for entrenched. And then game two, I missed both turn one plays. I played Yaddle on turn two. My deck was punishing me. I showed the person I had two home ones, uh, a Caloran, and like a Mundi, and I'd resourced another Luke Skywalker, and I literally had no turn one plays, no turn two plays, and then I drew a Yaddle, and that was my turn two play against Sabine. And as you might imagine, not playing two turns is quite detrimental.
Yeah. But
So that
then
one we can
you
put
got your
down to a bit
redemption
of a,
back. You got your redemption back on the hand green.
yeah. This one was one as it should have gone like this more in the first one. I we started the first game with um, having the entrenched straight onto their Chewbacca. Turn two, their first action was Chewbacca onto uh, the Falcon, and my first action was just yeah, putting the entrenched on it, and from there it kind of goes downhill for them. They have no access to removing the upgrade at all, apart from possibly bamboozling their own unit, but that's quite spicy. So yeah, that, and then game two, they managed to hit the Falcon into Chewbacca, but that one was the game where I had Yaddle turn one. I and then I put a constructed lightsaber on it, and then that's where the race went. I'm hitting for 5, healing for 3, and he's hitting for 6. And then the next turn, I just put a General's Blade on as well, and the bloke just smiled and was like, I was like, "Do you have Waylay?" And he just smiled and was like, "Nope." And then we played 2 more turns. He didn't see Waylay, and I won that game. So that's pretty much how that one went.
And then to finish off your run, I mean, very sadly, it was a draw against Iden Dataville.
This was kind of what I was saying about we were both incredibly fast players. We sat down and we were like, "Look, this is going to be a long game." Um, this first game, I got him to 31, while I just ran out of steam at the end, and it again pre-side. I think I got 1 or 2 turns where I drew like an entrenched and a general's blade, and then I drew like a yaddle and something else, and it just wasn't the gas I needed at the time. And game 2 went a lot more my way, but we were staring down 5 minutes left on the clock after this game 2, because the first game I truly believed I was going to win. Um,
Hmm.
so as I said, when they were at 31, it was. I even remember I fished for the win because I knew I hadn't seen a Mazkanata earlier on in the game, and I Caloran backed looking for a Mazkanata to end the game, and you just didn't hit it, and it's like, but
It's not the best way to finish a run, but that did leave you with a record of 8 wins, 1 loss, and 3 draws. So overall, I did put you 24th out of 519 players, I believe. So overall, an incredible run. But any final words from you, Lawson?
honestly, I think this is one of the strongest decks that are out there. It makes people, if this deck gets a bit more traction, people are going to be running straight back to all the main deck upgrade hate. General's Blade is just such a key component. Also, when people respect the consular a bit more, this deck might get worse. Um, I got I had Sabines when I was off initiative. Sometimes they try and attack over the consular, which like attack your base while the consula's up, and that is never the winning play line. Um, while the Sabines that I lost to for when I had consular, they always respected the consular to just get rid of it no matter what. Well, yeah, it is just a great deck. I think it just utilizes the power of a lot of cards that have been OP, well, not OP for a while, strong for a while, but not able to find a good home.
I mean, couldn't have said it better myself, to be honest. But yeah, thank you, Lawson, for joining me. That was the Obi Wan Vergence Temple breakdown. If you want to see more, Lawson is now officially part of the Gonk Gang, so there will be more deck techs on crazy, small, little, niche, but very powerful decks that he makes. Lawson's a very good deck builder. If you like this type of content, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that, and yeah, you'll see more of him, more of me, more of the gang. Thanks for watching.